you about how to make a quilt and what is involved in it. Quilting is not just for girls. Guys like to do it because it's very prestigious. You have to get things right for it to work out. There's a lot of math involved in quilting, which I didn't know. For instance, you make block squares, and you need to know how many blocks you need for your full size. Say you're making a queen size mattress, you would need to know how many blocks you would need for that. The binding, which is normally strips, and it's a certain length that goes around the quilt, so you need to know how to figure out that. There are many tools used for quilting. One, this is a rotary cutter. It's a very sharp blade. Has like a little spins with a blade around it. And it's used to cut very straight lines in your fabric. To use the rotary cutter, you need this mat. If you don't have this mat, say you're cutting on a wood surface, it'll cut right through the wood surface because the blade is so sharp. This is just a plastic mat. Your most important thing is your sewing machine. You need to keep your sewing machine really clean. Like no dust in it, no threads that are stuck in there. This is a brush that you can use to dust out your sewing machine in the place where all the mechanics move. If it's not clean, it could cause some very hard problems when trying to sew your quilt together. Rulers. You use these little guys to measure out your squares. And this is a square ruler. They have quilting pins. These, they either make them round head or flat heads. You will want to use pins that won't melt when you put an iron over the fabric. Now, speaking of iron, you also need an iron and a board to iron on. Pressing is very important when quilting. If you don't press your fabrics down for each block, when you square it off, it can be very hard to get it exact. It can also prevent lumps and bumps when joining your blocks. Now, they also have marking pencils. This is a chalk pencil. It's bright. They also make markers, and they have one that's purple that when you write and you leave it, it'll start fading. But since we live in Florida, the humidity can get to it, and it could be gone within seconds to minutes. Fabrics. Most beginners use 100% cotton. It is recommended that you wash your fabrics so that all the shrinkage and all the dyes that are in it come out that need to. But you should wash all of it, not just some of your fabrics, because when you wash your full quilt, it could make one side lumpy because one side will shrink up and then the other side won't. So that could be bad. You can use pretty much any fabric, just depending on how hard you want to work to sew your fabric together. Scissors. Normally I just use the small scissors because you have your rotary cutter that does all your cutting of your fabric for you. These are only just for when you're sewing to snip threads. They also have something called hand quilting. This is a very slow and tedious process. I don't do it because I would get very anxious. If you can't pay for your sewing machines, you can also go to a quilting place and they can quilt for you. It would just depend on how big and the size for them to price you for it. You can make many things with quilting. I made this box. It's cute. It's my favorite colors. And then this is a cell phone charging station. Put your little charger through and it charges overnight. You can also make pot holders, tablecloths, table runners, blankets, of course, which is what we all think of, pillow, purses, and tote bags. One good gift that is quilted is a microwave bowl holder. These are holders that you put when you microwave something. It will not get hot when you take out your food. They're very good. I use mine all the time. Another good tool that I forgot to mention is the seam ripper. This is my best friend. I always have to use it. If you think you can quilt without a seam ripper, you're very wrong. You always need them. They're very important. The last thing that you would do in the process is you would sign your quilt with your name and date so you know when you made it, just for the memories. Now, I just told you pretty much the basics of quilting. Thank you.